All right. Good morning, guys. We've got Miss Ashley Cologne with Life's Mirror Images with us today. Mr. Davidson, could you go ahead and introduce her, please, and
I will.
turn the program over to her?
Yes, sir. If you'll remember, a few weeks ago, we had Miss Sarah Stahl with the Jackson County, well, it's the Mountain Lakes Chamber of Commerce. She also covers tourism and marketing for our county. From that conversation, she and I have explored different pathways, different careers that we have available in Jackson County. And it really falls into programs that we want to see grow and develop in Jackson County under the Fine Arts program. We have, if you think about fine arts and the different media sources that come along with that, photography is definitely one of those. And Miss Cologne was the contact that was given to me by Miss Sarah Stahl. And so this is the first time I've had the opportunity to meet her. So she's coming to us live this morning on, I guess it looks like on a great back deck or front deck of her, hopefully home. Yes. So that's artistic within itself.
Yep.
So my background of what I think of when I think of photography is the man, the myth, the legend, Wayne Murphy. And it was when we grew up, we had senior portraits made. And then when you got married, you got your wedding photos made. And I know that now we probably all have a cell phone that has a camera that's probably hundreds of times the quality that they were back then. So I don't know if Miss Cologne, what type of photography you do, if you do what we think of as traditional humans or still images, or you're a nature photographer. So give us, if you don't mind, a few minutes of your background and what other media sources you use other than just maybe photography, or if that's your specialty. And how do you see fine arts as something that our students should be interested in, and what programs in school got you prepared to do what you do today?
Okay, great. Well, thank you for having me. This is a really good opportunity, and I appreciate being able to do this. I'm actually not at, I wish I lived. I am on location shooting for the chamber and spent the night here. And I was like, this is a lovely backdrop. This is in Bryant, actually. So,
My hometown.
oh, yeah, really? Well, it's great up here. I love this. Is the Grant Summit Cabins. We were covering some footage for them, and I was staying hopefully to catch sunrise this morning. But as you can see, it's really cloudy, and there was no sunrise.
Yeah.
So I've just been enjoying the day and the view. So I'm Ashley Cologne. I'm the owner of Life's Mirror Images, and I'll try to remember everything that you just said. What I actually do is I do a little bit of everything now. Mostly, I am a portrait photographer, but so that means I capture families, seniors. I don't do as many weddings as I used to do because I've branched out and started doing actually adventure photography since 2020 happened. And luckily, I've been able to cover Jackson County and the area and show people what we have to offer. When everyone says there's nothing to do, I'm showing them that there's so many things to do here. Because we live in such a beautiful county that offers a lot of outdoor and adventure things to do. So, I guess.
So you're at Grant Summit there. How booked are they? They are. There's several cabins there, but are they pretty much? Are you looking around and seeing folks in Bryant, Alabama for some reason?
I can actually see the cabins, like they're pretty close, not extremely close together, but I know there's someone here and here. I think there's someone in every one of them.
I think you're probably right.
So I know that they're booked up a lot. So I think they have.
So what background led you to the career that you have right now? Are there classes, or did you go to college for this? Are you certified in any field, or are you just a freelance photographer that grew out of a passion that you had?
Well, I actually did grow out of a passion. I do have some background that I got from that, but so I went to school at Auburn and South Alabama, and I have a couple of degrees. Two of my degrees that I have are in business marketing. So I knew one day that I wanted to have a business. And so I've got the background with the business and marketing degree. And while I was in college, every semester, I took a class that I wasn't required to take. I would go through the catalog and be like, oh, that's an interesting class. I want to take that. And photography, my father and grandfather, sorry about my alarm, were amateur photographers. And I used to pick up their camera because I wanted to learn what they do. And so I actually learned on film how to use a film camera from them. And when I was in college, one of my last semesters, I decided to take a photography course. And I did. And I got a certification for, this is just a small certification from the school to do photography. And through that, just one class. And then after I graduated, that wasn't my plan, was to have a photography business. I had just done that for fun. And I graduated. I did a couple of jobs. I was actually a rug designer at Maples for a while. And then I did a few other things. And while I was at Maples, I had a bad car accident. And then I lost my job after my car accident. And I was like, what do I do with my life now? I don't know what to do. And so I decided to start a photography business because I was already taking pictures for people because it was a hobby. And my mom and my husband pushed me into charging people, and it just blew off from there. And this is my 14th year owning my business, and it just grows bigger and bigger every year. This is my full-time job. I am a full-time photographer. And I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about people finding what they love to do and doing it, because when you do, you never have to work a day in your life. And
You mentioned two things that really struck an interest in the conversations that I've had, and one of them was you talked about while you were in college, and I'm sure you did it even before college and high school. You took electives to explore things that you knew that you were possibly interested in, but you didn't waste an entire degree on that, because if you didn't like some of the electives, that was the only one you might have taken. So would you encourage students, especially in high school, to look for electives, whether they're in career tech, what we consider career tech, or all the elective options that we have at our local schools, and to see what kind of passions they think they might could develop out of those? And then as they go to college and they're in a major, really explore those elective pathways?
absolutely. I actually changed my major 6 times because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And
Congratulations. That's
so,
about a national average, probably.
yeah. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I feel like if when I was younger, I had the opportunity in school or any extracurricular to be taken aside and like shadow someone or do some of the things that I thought I might want to do, then I feel like my path would have been a little bit different. I did grow up in a medical environment, and that's what I thought that I wanted to do at first, because I did spend a lot of time with that. But I feel like if I would have branched out into other interests, then I would have realized that that wasn't really where I wanted to be, that it was doing something creative, because I learned that I love to create. It doesn't matter if I'm not doing photography, I'm doing something with my hands. I'm constantly creating. Like I love doing woodworking, just painting, anything as long as I'm using my hands, cooking. And so I do encourage anyone, and especially when you're younger, to get out there and try some classes that maybe you think you might not like. Try some classes that you will like.
Can you tell me the difference in your mind and how you've see the difference between the term fine arts and performing arts? And do you consider yourself someone that's in the fine arts, instead of necessarily, when we think of art, we may think of drama or singing? So how do you sort of classify those two?
I would say performing arts would fall under, like you said, like acting, singing, where you're actually doing something to entertain others. And the fine arts is more where you're still, in a way, you're still entertaining, but you're pulling out a little bit more of a creative process where you're actually creating with. And that's the way I see things different with fine arts and performing arts.
And can you see that from a K-12 perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it applies all around, like even from kindergarten. If you're acting, you're performing, and you're drawing, it's fine art, and it doesn't matter how good or bad you are at it. As long as you're doing it, that's what you're doing.
Do you hold any certifications or any kind of license to perform any of the jobs that you do?
I have a business license, and technically I have some like photography 101 small little course certifications, but that's really it. I have my business degree, my marketing degree, which you don't have to run a business, but it has really helped me. And I feel like a lot of photographers don't succeed in owning a photography business, but with the business and the marketing background, I feel like that's really helped me to know what to do and how to run a business.
You've
Can you
driven.
talk about, I'm sorry, Jason.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I've got this written down.
Can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the pitfalls or some of the obstacles that come with owning your own business? Because I know, like you just said, a lot of people go out and they have they're really passionate about an idea, whether it's photography or owning a restaurant or anything like that, and they get tangled up in the red tape of owning their own business a little bit, and that causes them to stumble. Can you talk about some of those things that just people need to be aware of going into owning their own business?
Oh gosh, there's so many things, but I honestly, the number one thing that I think personally, and I've been thinking about this a lot, is customer service. If you don't have customer service, you're not going to run your own business very well, because even restaurant industry, it doesn't matter what it is. I've actually been taking pictures with a lot of businesses over the last couple of days, and that's one thing that I've noticed is how some of them have the customer service, and some, are a little need a little help in that. But I think that once you learn customer service and how to treat people, that's going to help bring people to your business. It's going to want people to come to you to help you. And so it's really important to learn how to treat people, and how to talk to people, how to talk to the public. And the next thing is how to ask for help. If you need help, ask for it. Like me, I have to do I do my marketing, I do my editing, I do my shooting, I am my I do my accounting, I do my booking. I do it all, but I have also learned that accounting is not my thing. I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible at keeping my books. So I reach out and I have someone that helps me with that. And then when it's time for taxes, I hire somebody to do it. So another thing is to realize that you can't do it all, and to learn how to ask for help.
I like to call that customer service deal you talked about the Chick-fil-A factor.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, people, I don't know anybody that's ever gone into Chick-fil-A and not felt a little bit better when they walked out, because it was somebody's pleasure to serve you that day.
I agree. Say it's my pleasure instead of thank you. It's like
Right.
that one small little phrase, it really helps out.
We always ask this question, and as well as we know, to be a small business owner and have the background that you have, but also have the ability to be your own boss. You might not necessarily think of an hourly rate of pay that you earn, but maybe you charge that. So we know that you have to have a skill to pay the bills. And so how do you see, and how do you structure yourself, and how does that equate to some type of salary that we can tell students this is what our opportunities available for you salary wise?
Sorry, I've lost you for just a second.
We can hear you.
Your video's just gone.
I just got to get you back here.
Or is that just a marketing plug to show your logo there? That's pretty clever though.
Oh, how do I find you? Oh, you can see my logo? That's great.
Your logo. Do you see the camera right there on your screen anywhere?
I've completely lost it. It says new meeting. Find you.
Swipe up and it's probably open in a different window.
Yes. Let's see. There you are. Okay.
All right. You're back. You're good.
Nice for that. Okay. So, what was that last thing?
I'm not trying to get personal about how much you make, but I'm just sort of giving them an idea of what type of options are available salary wise as a small business owner for someone that's going into be their own business.
So what I actually do is I factor in, I have gear. I have a lot of gear. Um, like I have cameras, I have lenses, I have drones, a laptop, and then so I take all of that and kind of add up how much it costs and how much time I spend on a photo shoot, how much time I edit, how much time I'm spending on the computer, and I kind of divide or I add all of that together and then divide it out as to what an hourly rate is that I would like to make to cover the costs that I need to live, and then how much work I can do to reach that. So that's kind of how I figure it out and have to go about it. I don't make a whole lot of money, but I can make a whole lot of money when I want to. Um, I do also like to, I like to do what I need to do so that I can spend time with my family and exploring, but I also am making money while I'm exploring and using my camera. Um, but photographers have the potential to make just as much as anybody else does if they want to. And that's what's so great about owning your own business too. You decide the costs, and
And you decide your hours, and you decide if I need to work more, then we're going to work more. If I need to work, if I want to step back and work a little less, I can do that.
that's right. And if you don't want to work that day, as long as you don't have anything scheduled, you know, you don't have to.
What type of equipment purchases do you make? I know photography has changed drastically, but is there some type of setup? Just like if someone want to get into photography as a student, what would you recommend as sort of an entry level camera or equipment?
Well, I have some of my equipment with me, and I'm more than happy to share that. So this is my main guy. I've got four cameras, and I use this one more than any of the other ones. I've got it. It's a Nikon camera, Nikon lens. Um, you don't necessarily need such a large camera to start off. You just need a camera to take pictures. And I recommend a DSLR, which is a camera where the lens comes off, and so you can change the lens. At any point, you can control the settings. It's got settings on the top, and it doesn't have to be an expensive camera. I get asked this question a lot, and I always recommend go to Unclaimed Baggage and look to see what they have if you're wanting to start out, and find one of the lower price cameras that they have that is a DSLR, and don't worry about what it does or how it works. Don't spend a whole lot of money on it. Buy it, play with it, learn how to use it, read your manual. And then if you decide that that's your thing, then step up and get something that's, you know, better and not necessarily a used camera, although there's nothing wrong with a used camera. But some people like to buy brand new.
Do you use a computer at home to edit?
Yes, that was my next thing. I don't have it with me. I use I have an Apple computer at home, and I do most of my work on the road. I'm hardly ever at home because I'm always out shooting. So I have a laptop that I use. A lot of photographers use desktop, and that's fine too. It just depends on what you want. I have a laptop that if I want to hook it up to a TV, I can hook it up to a TV and work from a TV. So I have a larger screen to see on, or if I'm on an airplane, I can sit on the plane and edit on the plane in my lap. Or although, go ahead.
How difficult is it to learn some of the editing software? I know, like if I pull Photoshop up, because I don't have a ton of experience with anything, and I just try to play around a little bit. It can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes. So,
Yes.
so how do you go about that?
Going in there blindly is not fun. I tried that from the beginning, and now I have a certification in Photoshop and Lightroom. I use Photoshop and Lightroom with editing.
Oh, that was that certification word you used. So it's something you obtained online?
Yes, It is. I took some classes online, and I also have done some in-person classes with some other people that I know. Always learning, and even with those, sometimes I'll be like, I don't know how to do this, so I YouTube it, and
Mhm.
I do a lot learning from YouTube. I call YouTube free school.
Absolutely.
Many things
Do,
you.
so, I mean, again, we don't want to get into your personal business a ton, but I mean,
Okay.
how expensive is it to go through like an online course on Photoshop?
Well, you can shop around and find a good deal. But you can start off from anywhere from $100 to hundreds of dollars. It just depends on what you want to learn, who the teacher is, how far you want to dive into it, and where you want to go.
But would you say that if you're going to be successful at this, that's something that, you probably need to do?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't do a certification in it, sit down with somebody and learn how to use it, or else you're not going to know what to do with it. I didn't used to use the editing programs because I was strictly straight out of the camera. When I started my business, I was strictly film. So back then, people couldn't get their pictures the next day. You had to wait
Right.
weeks till I got the film back, and that was fun. But
So do you or anyone in your community, you're a Jackson County resident, but do you know of anyone in our community that offers classes on photography for students that would want to take a class? Or do you ever look at ways to get inside the school and talk to students or teachers about some ways to do a small session or during the summer programs even?
I don't know of anyone, and that's actually was one of my goals for my business this year was to branch out, and I actually am planning a summer camp for kids from 5. It really is from 5 to 14 years old. I've had some older people ask, well, could I do it? I'm like, well, you could, but this class is geared towards younger children, and I hope that once I really start marketing that and getting it out, I'm hoping that that can be a yearly thing, or I would be happy to do something with school programs. Um,
How do we get in touch with you, or how does students register? Are you going to put this on a website?
well, I have it. I just created an event on Facebook, and I'm just having people reach out to me right now because this is kind of like toes in the water here. I'm not really sure how it's.
We are too.
Yeah, well, yeah. This is our first go around with all this too. But I think we probably do have some students, I'm sure, listening today who would be interested in this. Um, so, um, so you said this is on Facebook. There's a Facebook event for this.
Yes, I have a business page and I created an event for it.
What are the dates on that? Do you have those?
Oh, I don't have my calendar right here beside me. It's in June. I want to say it's like the 19th or the 21st that week.
And where will it be at?
It will actually be in the Scottsboro area.
Okay.
And kind of it's outdoors, so
Right.
nothing and nothing is indoors. It's all outdoors. I have activities planned for every day, and there's homework for the kids to do. And what I would like to do is hopefully, if I get enough people and involved that want to do it, I'd like to have a little showing at the end of the week, like a gallery for the kids to
Are you
show.
sponsored, or is this something that students would pay a fee for?
It's something students will pay a fee for. It's $50 a student, and it's 2 hours each day.
Well, if I had known that you were on location in Bryant at Grant Summit, I would have had you to get Mr. Hill involved, just to extend tourism. But thank you for joining us this morning live on location. It looks beautiful. And can we look at a webpage of any of your work? Can students visit a website, or are you Facebook only of some of the work that you've done in our county?
Lifesmirrorimages.com.
You cut out a little bit. Can you repeat that?
That's okay. Lifesmirrorimages.com.
Okay. All right.
That's
Great.
right. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, also.
All right. That's awesome. And guys, everybody listening out there today, the cool thing about this job, you work for yourself. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can go ahead and get started in this now. I mean, if you're a kid that's already interested in this stuff, go ahead and get mom, dad, talk to them, get signed up on a Photoshop class or something like that. Go out and start taking pictures. And there's no reason you can't make money now doing something like that. And then by the time you're out of school, you've kind of got a business developed already, and you're ready to go.
That's right. There are a lot of younger photographers that do it. Actually, most of the people that I know, not all, but most of the people that I know that are photographers, they do it as a side job. And then they get into it and realize there's no time for it to be a side job.
Right.
But starting off, like you said, you make your own hours, you make your own rules. So if you just want to make a little bit starting out, see if it's your thing, you can do it with another job. That's kind of the way to go to start, actually, so that you know it's what you want to do.
And your background in business didn't hurt you at all.
No, not at all.
So, that's something that's always been driven home to me by one of our board members, Dr. Guess. She's very passionate about art and the arts, and she's always mentioned the fact that just like with artists, even cosmetology students, mechanics, a lot of the folks that own their own business, which is the flexibility of having those skills, still need the background in the business world in order to be successful, like Mr. Colvin mentioned, and you've mentioned already. Having that ability to manage your business and to focus on customer service will make any job more successful.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It was good talking to you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.